The Golden State Warriors, one of the most iconic franchises in the NBA, is immersed in yet another playoff journey, facing the challenging Houston Rockets in the first round. The relentless pursuit of another championship is deeply tied to a strategic decision made just before the final stretch of the regular season: the arrival of Jimmy Butler. The acquisition of the forward was a bold move by the front office, something that brought renewed energy and raised the hopes of the fan base. However, Butler was not the only big name that caught the attention of the Warriors' leadership. Behind the scenes, there was also an attempt, albeit brief, to try and add Giannis Antetokounmpo to the roster. The star of the Milwaukee Bucks, known as the Greek Freak, has always been at the top of the California team's wish list. Internal sources confirmed that Golden State made a call to the Bucks to see if there was any possibility of a deal involving Giannis, especially as the trade deadline approached. This move, however, happened before Butler's arrival and right after a failed attempt to bring Kevin Durant back to the team. The dream of pairing Antetokounmpo with Stephen Curry seemed audacious, but according to Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, the trade negotiation was quickly deemed unfeasible. Butler's long-term contract sealed the fate of this possibility. Now, with the new star's firm commitment, the conditions to fit Giannis into the team became impractical. Furthermore, even if Giannis were to become available, the reality is that other teams in the league would have more resources, both in terms of young talent and future draft picks, to offer in a potential trade. Golden State, therefore, would have great difficulty assembling a competitive package without dismantling the roster that is currently seeking yet another glory on the court. The situation surrounding Giannis, however, remains full of nuances. The Milwaukee Bucks, who have lived through recent seasons at the top of the NBA, now face a series of questions. The team finds itself down 0-2 in the series against the Indiana Pacers, and the possibility of an early elimination looms. Within this context, rumors about Antetokounmpo's future are starting to gain momentum. It wouldn't be a surprise if, during the next offseason, he expressed a desire to seek new horizons. Giannis himself has already signaled clearly that his stay in Milwaukee is not unconditional. In previous statements, the star emphasized the importance of staying challenged and competitive, highlighting that, if the organization is no longer committed to pursuing championships, he might consider other paths for his career. In an interview with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, he reflected on his personal philosophy regarding his career. "I don't want to live in my comfort zone. I need constant challenges. And if that challenge is here, great. Now we have a real challenge. Few people believe in us, but we have a strong and motivated group," the player explained. However, there may come a time when that's no longer the case. Maybe the team enters a rebuilding process, or maybe the goals change. In that situation, I need to decide. Will my growth as an individual athlete be more important than simply staying in one place out of loyalty? These words reverberated throughout the league, keeping executives and fans alert to any movements that could indicate the players' dissatisfaction with the current situation of the Bucks. Giannis's restlessness is not something to be ignored and could trigger one of the biggest player races in recent years if he decides to actually change teams. Meanwhile, in another NBA scenario, Kevin Durant, star of the Phoenix Suns, could also shake up the market soon. After the disappointing early elimination of the Suns, despite having a roster filled with talents like Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, Durant is said to be re-evaluating his future. The situation in Phoenix opens the door for further blockbuster moves in the market, increasing the volatility among the league's top franchises. If Giannis opts to seek new horizons, the competition to acquire him will be fierce. Teams with more assets, promising young players, and draft picks will be better positioned than the Warriors to make aggressive proposals. Furthermore, Golden State's commitment to Butler indicates that the team's priority, at least in the short and medium term, is to strengthen the current core around its already established leaders, rather than pursuing a complete roster overhaul. The dream of seeing Antetokounmpo wear the blue and gold jersey alongside Stephen Curry, therefore, seems further away than ever, not only due to the financial and contractual limitations imposed by Butler's arrival, but also due to the fierce competition that would arise if the Greek star were to become available. And so, While the Warriors remain focused on the tough task of overcoming the Rockets and advancing in the playoffs, the behind-the-scenes activity remains lively, with speculations, long-term strategies, and many what-ifs hanging over the franchise's future. In the relentless world of the NBA, where alliances shift quickly and the fate of teams can be rewritten in a single offseason, nothing is impossible, but everything requires meticulous planning and a fair bit of luck. Golden State, which for so long dominated the league with a revolutionary playing style, is now trying to balance tradition and innovation, looking to the present without losing sight of the possibilities of tomorrow. Butler's arrival was a firm step in this direction, an attempt to ensure immediate competitiveness without sacrificing future flexibility, even if that means letting go of old dreams like bringing Giannis to San Francisco. As the playoffs unfold and new stories are written with each game, the certainty is that the Warriors will not rest as long as there is a chance to win another title. And even if Antetokounmpo remains a distant dream, the relentless pursuit of excellence will continue to be the franchise's hallmark. The narrative of the Golden State Warriors this season, therefore, is a story of choices. Every move behind the scenes reflects the tension between the desire to maintain immediate relevance and the ambition to build something sustainable for the future. The decision to bet on Jimmy Butler while leaving behind more complex dreams like signing Giannis Antetokounmpo exemplifies this delicate dance between the present and what could be. By bringing in Butler, the Warriors not only strengthened their defensive ability and offensive aggressiveness, but also added a combative personality to the team, a spirit that fits perfectly with a squad already possessing the competitive soul of Curry and Draymond Green. Butler's presence in the locker room is an injection of leadership and intensity, characteristics that make all the difference in high-pressure moments in the playoffs. It is important to highlight that Butler's arrival transformed the team's structure. With him on the court, the Warriors gained new tactical options, opening up space for more flexible rotations and stronger defenses. However, this transformation came at a cost. It significantly limited the franchise's maneuvering room to pursue other superstars, such as Giannis himself. Without giving up key pieces or compromising its financial future, it simply wouldn't have been feasible to dream of adding another massive contract to the roster. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, the environment is quite different. The pressure to keep Giannis happy and committed is greater than ever. The series against the Indiana Pacers revealed vulnerabilities that few expected to see in a team that had recently dominated the East with authority. The defeat in the first two games of the series made it clear that the Bucks urgently need to reinvent themselves or risk losing their greatest talent. Giannis's recent words about the need for constant challenges are not just a subtle warning to the Bucks' management, but also a reminder to the rest of the league that even the biggest stars may seek new paths if they feel their time in a particular organization is coming to an end. It's not just about titles. It's about feeling that you're in an environment where your potential is respected, explored, and constantly tested. In a scenario where the patience of stars is ever shorter and where super teams are formed almost overnight, the Warriors have already proven to be one of the few destinations capable of offering both immediate success and a culturally strong environment. Still, that's not always enough to attract stars who are in their prime, especially when other teams can offer more attractive packages to their home clubs. While the San Francisco franchise continues its playoff campaign, the off-season challenge is already on the horizon. Depending on the current performance, the team's leadership may be forced to reconsider its approach, either doubling down on the current core or seeking creative alternatives to add more firepower to the roster. The trade market promises to be busy. The potential availability of Giannis would be the main catalyst for a true race among the NBA's top franchises. And although Golden State is not currently in a position to lead this race, no one can underestimate the front office's ability to reinvent itself when opportunities arise. For now, reality demands total focus on the battle against the Rockets. A playoff series is never just about talent. It's also about strategy, adjustments, and above all, mentality. Jimmy Butler brought exactly that. A mind forged in adversity, someone used to thriving under pressure. With him, Curry and company know they can face any opponent without fear. The coming weeks will be decisive not only for the Warriors' current ambitions, but also for shaping what the team will be in the coming years. Success or failure in this postseason will directly influence how the franchise approaches issues such as contract renewals, potential trades, and the definition of the new core that will sustain the next competitive cycle. Amid all these variables, one thing remains constant. The Golden State Warriors continue to be a franchise that commands respect. Even in the face of the natural challenges of an aging roster and the fierce competition from emerging new powers, they keep the flame of excellence alive. This tradition of adaptation and overcoming is what makes the idea of seeing a player like Giannis join them so fascinating for fans, even if, in practice, this possibility is, for now, only a distant mirage. The future of the NBA will be shaped by the choices made now. Every behind-the-scenes meeting, every conversation between executives, and every decision made by a star reverberates throughout the league, altering the balance of power. The Warriors, even in a moment of transition, remain one of the magnetic poles of this universe, always ready to surprise and redefine the game. As the Golden State Warriors move forward in the playoffs, the implications of each result intertwine with the franchise's medium and long-term decisions. The presence of Jimmy Butler has altered the team's competitive DNA, bringing with it not only elite scoring and defense, but also an unrelenting mentality that few players can imprint on a team environment. This transformation did not happen in isolation. It is directly connected to the broader context of the current NBA, where success cycles are becoming increasingly short and the margin for strategic errors is minimal. The Warriors, aware of this, understood that they needed to act decisively to maximize the window that remains for their championship core. On the other hand, the idea of having Giannis Antetokounmpo join this project remains one of those almost utopian visions that ignite the imagination of fans, but face virtually insurmountable barriers in reality. The difficulty of aligning contracts, the limited assets for trades, and the high financial cost make the task of adding a star like Giannis something beyond immediate reach. Even so, the interest that the Warriors have shown in the Greek star reveals a lot about the franchise's philosophy. Never satisfied, always seeking the next big opportunity, they keep alive the culture of ambition that made them a global powerhouse. And this type of mentality is exactly what attracts players who want to compete at the highest level. Giannis's situation, in turn, is a saga that is still far from over. His frustration with the Bucks' performance this season, coupled with his talk about not settling into the comfort zone, raises red flags in Milwaukee. If the team cannot quickly turn things around and show Giannis that it can still be a dominant force, the chances of a breakup will grow exponentially. If Antetokounmpo truly decides to seek new horizons, the ripple effect that this will cause in the market will be historic. Few times has a talent of this caliber made themselves available at the peak of their career. The Warriors, although not the favorites in a possible race for his signing, would certainly be among the interested parties, even if only as attentive observers, ready to act should an unexpected opening arise. However, the current reality demands pragmatism. With Butler committed long-term, the team's salary structure is practically sealed. This means that any move involving the arrival of another top-tier star would require a painful dismantling of the current roster, something that the management clearly wants to avoid, at least for now. Meanwhile, the series against the Houston Rockets serves as an important barometer. Facing a young and talented team forces the Warriors to test their own limits, adjust their strategies in real time, and prove that experience and collective quality are still powerful weapons in a scenario where physicality and speed are gaining more and more space. Each game in this series is a lesson in resilience and adaptation. Jimmy Butler, with his contagious intensity, has already shown to be an essential piece of this puzzle. His ability to elevate the team's competitive level in the most tense moments provides Curry and the other veterans with a new dimension of confidence. The Warriors, now more than ever, need this combination of talent, intelligence, and grit to move forward. Success in the playoffs would not only reinforce the decision to invest in Butler, but would also send a clear message to the rest of the league. The Warriors are still alive, still relevant, and continue to be a coveted destination for players seeking something more than just numbers or fat contracts. Players who want to win for real. At the same time, behind the scenes, monitoring Giannis's situation will continue quietly. Even though it seems unlikely today, in the dynamic world of the NBA, alliances can change, opportunities can appear out of nowhere, and smart franchises are always prepared for the unexpected. The recent history of the league is full of examples of deals that seemed impossible until the moment they became reality. Golden State, therefore, remains at the crossroads between the present and the future. The immediate challenge is to defeat the Houston Rockets and move forward in the postseason. But on the horizon, always present, is the need to think about the next steps: how to keep the team competitive, how to attract talent, and how to continue writing victorious chapters in its already glorious history. With Butler solidified in the lineup and Curry still being one of the most impactful players in the league, the Warriors have the necessary foundation to stay strong. However, Giannis's future, Kevin Durant's movement, and the dynamics of other league stars will shape the landscape in the coming months, and the ability to adapt to these changes will be crucial. This current season may be remembered not only for what the Warriors achieve on the court, but also for the seeds planted behind the scenes. Every decision, every strategy adopted now will have consequences that go beyond immediate results. Ultimately, Golden State walks with balance between two worlds, that of present glory and that of preparing for what is to come. And as always, the franchise moves with the confidence of those who have already proven capable of turning audacious dreams into reality. At 22 years old, Sotto has already built an impressive career, standing out as an athlete who combines height with remarkable skills. His agility, coordination, and versatility on the court make him an imposing presence in the paint. Excelling both defensively and offensively, he is seen as a player capable of impacting any team immediately. However, merely combining his height and skills doesn't guarantee that he will shine in the NBA. The American League is challenging, with intense competition, fast-paced action, and a physical demand much higher than in any other basketball league. If Sotto were to play for the Golden State Warriors, it would bring a much greater impact than just his on-court performance. The Bay Area is known for its massive diversity, with a significant presence of the Filipino community. Kai's arrival would not just mean adding a new player to the roster. He could become a symbol of pride for millions of Filipino fans. Imagine the energy at Chase Center with such a passionate fan base. This kind of support could generate an electrifying atmosphere, fueled by the passion and dedication of thousands. Moreover, from a business perspective, it would open doors for the Warriors' brand globalization, broadening its international appeal and solidifying its position as one of the most visible franchises globally. But Kai's transition to the NBA wouldn't be easy. The league demands more than natural talent. It requires players to quickly adapt to the fast pace and physical demands, while also developing skills such as consistency and defensive agility. While Kai has already shown flashes of brilliance, especially on offense, he will need to adjust his game swiftly to handle the NBA's toughness, where even the smallest weaknesses are exposed. Looking at his experience in the Japanese league, we can see that Kai has promising potential, but also a long way to go. If the Warriors decide to sign him, he will face the challenge of adjusting to a much higher level of play, and the time for adaptation will be short. With stars like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, Kai would have the opportunity to train alongside players considered living legends of the sport. This could accelerate his development and help him become a complete player, but the responsibility to seize this opportunity would fall entirely on him. The Warriors are in a unique position where they must balance their short-term goals with the development of young talents. The roster spot is valuable, and every decision must be strategic. If Kai is included on the team, he will have to prove that he is capable of contributing significantly to the franchise's success, not just as a prospect, but as an essential piece of the team's title ambitions. Kai's impact goes far beyond the court. His presence could serve as a cultural bridge to millions of fans in Asia, especially in the Philippines, where basketball is extremely popular. This cultural factor could bring invaluable business benefits, both in terms of new sponsors and expanding the Warriors' brand in international markets. Kai's arrival at the Golden State Warriors could create a deep emotional connection with the Filipino community, generating a highly engaged fan base. This would bring not just energy and enthusiasm to the Chase Center stands, but could also drive new business and partnerships with Asian companies. Business partnerships in Asia could multiply, with basketball events, tours, and exclusive marketing opportunities for the region. Now, the big question remains. Will Kai be able to meet all the expectations and prove himself as a valuable addition to the team? His height and defensive skills could fill a significant gap for the Warriors, especially against physically dominant opponents, a weakness identified in recent years. The Warriors, under Steve Kerr's leadership, operate in a system that requires all players to be in constant motion and possess great tactical intelligence. To excel in this style of play, Kai will have to go beyond his role as a rim protector. He needs to develop his lateral mobility, improve his defensive communication, and quickly adapt to fast breaks and ball movement, which are central to the Warriors' offense. If Kai manages to adapt his game to these demands, he could become a powerful weapon both defensively and offensively, with the ability to block shots and then immediately finish an offensive play. This versatility is what makes him an intriguing prospect, but he still needs to prove he is ready to take this step in his career. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video and are up to date with the hottest Warriors news. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned to everything going on here. See you in the next video.